Hello, this is Brian Scuttle of Sonic Cinema. Thank you very much for subscribing to the YouTube channel and watching, whether it is just this quick take or whether you follow the quick takes in general or the podcast. I'm glad that you're here. So this review is going to be for the third film in director Kim Han-min's military trilogy from South Korea, Noryang Deadly Sea. It is the third part of a trilogy that started with The Admiral Roaring Currents, which I still have not seen, but I hope to see in the future so I can finish the trilogy. The second film in the trilogy, Hansen Rising Dragon, I watched a couple of years ago when it came out in Blu-ray from Go USA, and this one is a movie that I watched back in January when it hit theaters, and this is for the Blu-ray release. All three of these films basically deal with the same basic period in Korean history and battles at sea, especially administered by Admiral Yi, who is a historic figure in 16th century Korea. The political machinations of these movies, especially with subtitles, admittedly can be a bit dense because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of dialogue being sent your direction. It's not just the action. I personally, for me, I that kind of takes me out on the movies to a certain extent, so I'm kind of curious to see how I feel about the Admiral Roaring Currents when I do see it. But this basically is the culmination of a massive battle, war that had been going on in the late 16th century. And it's a fascinating period to see how the different political ideas go in hand with the action. Basically, the first half of the movie feels like it is setting up the action. The second half of the movie is when we are going to give you the action. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with that way of doing things. Because especially this movie, it kind of feels like the first half very much drags as it is saying everything up. And it is convoluted. It is a bit difficult to pay attention to. But that being said, once you get to the action is pretty fantastic in this movie. The naval battles in this movie are just extraordinary, and it was the case with Hansen Rising Dragon as well. I have no doubt it's going to be the same with Roaring Currents when I do see it. What I will admit, seeing this for the second time, I did like it a lot more than I did the first time. Maybe not a lot more, but I liked it more than I liked it the first time. I felt like it moved a lot better. I felt like the action had more scope to it. I mean, I was watching it on my TV on the Blu-ray as opposed to in my office, so that no doubt helps. Where this film really got me, though, is the last half hour, where Admiral Yi is inspiring his soldiers to go on. And the way it's done, the way it is handled within the film, the way it builds the tension of the moment, and the way it builds to the moment where he is banging on the drums. Absolutely phenomenal moment in the film. And it gets the adrenaline rushing because of the way Kim Han-min stages everything. It's just absolutely fantastic. Overall, though, I think I'm still in the camp of I like these movies. I'm not in love with them. We will see where I feel with the Admiral Roaring Currents, which I do plan on reviewing when I get a chance to on Sonic Cinema, just so I can have the trilogy reviewed. But for the most part, I think Hansen so far was slightly better than Noryang, but I think Noryang is a terrific film. And Noryang comes out on Tuesday in Blu-ray or DVD from Wilco USA. I recommend picking it up, especially if you watch the previous films and you like the previous films. This should be well worth picking up. That's going to be it for this quick take. My name is Brian Scuttle. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of the day.